This is a barbell hip thrust. So we set up here with a bar and plates on either side. In this case, we're using bumper plates. You want to use plates, if you're not using a 45, use bumper plates, something that has a thick diameter, so the bar will be adequately far off the ground. We're also using a bar pad here. This is a Hampton bar pad. You can also roll up a yoga mat and put it around there. You just want a little bit of padding between the bar and your hips when you perform this exercise. So Peter's got his upper back here on the edge of a bench, so it should be right around his shoulder blade height. He's going to roll that bar over his hips there. Good. Now from here he's going to bend his legs so that his feet are going to be flat on the ground. So the bar is just resting over his hips here with the pad on. So he's going to be, from this position here, he wants to brace his anterior core and then fire his glutes and hamstrings by pushing into the ground through his heels and midfoot. Okay? So from here, he's going to lift his hips up by pushing into the ground through that part of his foot. Bridging his hips up at the top here, good. So the anterior core is braced. That's going to prevent you from coming and extending through your low back as you do this exercise. All right, so we want this coming from the glutes and hamstrings. If you are feeling it in your low back, chances are you're extending through your low back. So instead, think about posteriorly tilting your hips underneath you and bracing the anterior core. Okay, so give us another good rep here. Hips come up, squeezing the glutes at the top here. That's what you should be focusing on, the top position. Come back down, good, under control. All right, a lot of times people will swing up into the weight, into the movement, and then swing back down, and they don't really have any regard or awareness of where their hips and low back are. So you want to do this, especially on the way down, under control, making sure those abs stay tight so that you're set up in a good position for your next rep. Now, a common mistake we'll see on this exercise is the head and neck positioning. You want to make sure we're maintaining a neutral cervical spine throughout the exercise, all right? So one common thing people will do is they'll leave their head way back like that here. So their head will be back like that, and they'll just be whipping their hips up and down. And a lot of times they'll end up moving through their low back a lot. Alternatively, what you'll see is people start in a good position here with their head and neck, and then they finish with their head and neck kind of cranked forward. All right, so we want the head and neck to move in sync with the rest of the body. So Peter shows one more good rep here. Braces the anterior core, gets the hips in a good position. When he comes up, watch where his head finishes. So it starts in line with the back, and it should finish in line with the back there too, okay? So we want a neutral cervical spine. Everything moves in unison during this exercise. And again, we want to emphasize that you should be feeling it in your glutes, in your hamstrings, and especially trying to squeeze your glutes and your hips at the top at lockout.